Just an hour from the City of London and Downing Street, Jersey is the offshore financial centre that's closest to home. The island is a base for thousands of banks and investment trusts, all offering the wealthy a place to discreetly look after their money. Information on who has money here and how much is pretty hard to obtain. The Prime Minister has repeatedly criticised offshore tax avoidance, calling it morally wrong. He says in office he has delivered £7 billion in savings by closing tax loopholes.
I want to say I'm really grateful for your engagement on this.
He even brought the leaders of British tax havens to Downing Street to make his point.
Let's be clear about why this tax issue matters. I mean, if companies don't properly pay their taxes or individuals don't properly pay their taxes, we all suffer as a result. So it's important we do get our own house in order.
But we've discovered that Mr Cameron's own father held assets offshore, assets left to his family after his death 5 years ago.
At this courthouse behind me here in St Helier, we found this. It's a document called a grant of probate, and it's attached to the English will of none other than Ian Cameron, David Cameron's father. So the real question is, why did the Prime Minister's father need to file separate documents here in Jersey?
The document, which Channel 4 News obtained last Friday, shows that in March 2011, the Royal Court in Jersey accepted the will of Ian Cameron. It appointed David Cameron's mother Mary, his brother Alex, and his sister Tanya as executors of his estate in Jersey. The attached will states that if Mr Cameron's mother did not survive her husband, any assets not specifically itemised will be divided between David Cameron and his sisters in equal share. Lawyers have told us that that would apply to any assets in Jersey.
But it doesn't give any details of the value of the estate, and that's because the laws in Jersey mean the numbers can be kept secret.
So what have we actually got here in these documents?
Yes. This is a fast-track application for probate, and what it is actually an application in Jersey to register the English will of Ian Cameron.
Why would anyone need to file these documents in Jersey?
The only reason to have that document is because there are some assets situate in Jersey. We can't tell from the documentation, which is very normal, how much those assets were worth, except to say that there'd be no point in doing this if they were valued at less than £10,000, because you don't need to have a grant of probate under that value.
Are these movable assets? Are they immovable assets? What is it we can actually tell?
Yes, they are movable assets, which is basically everything except property, real property in Jersey. So it could be some money in a bank account, it could be a shareholding in a company which is based in Jersey.
It's been widely reported that Ian Cameron was an expert in offshore funds. After a successful career as a stockbroker, he was involved in some of the earliest offshore investment trusts in the 1980s. One was set up in Panama in 1982. It was called Blairmore Holdings, named after the Cameron family estate in Scotland. In its 2006 prospectus, it said, "The fund should be managed and conducted so that it does not become resident in the United Kingdom for United Kingdom taxation purposes." Another fund was set up in Jersey in 1979 and was later known as the Close International Equity Growth Fund. By the time the Jersey grant was obtained in 2011, it had grown to be worth approximately £23 million.
As chairman of the fund, we've discovered that Ian Cameron owned 6,000 shares before he resigned in 2009. But what we don't know is how much of his own money, if any, he also invested.
Say hello to Mum and Dad. Hi, Bar, how are you? Good to see you.
Ian Cameron was certainly a wealthy man. In 2009, his personal fortune was estimated by researchers for the Sunday Times Rich List at £10 million, a figure which cannot be verified by Channel 4 News. Yet when Ian Cameron died in 2010, his estate was much smaller than might be expected, just £2.7 million. That raised questions at the time about whether some of the family's fortune was held offshore. Channel 4 News asked the Prime Minister why his family had filed these documents in Jersey. We asked what the value of the Jersey estate was and whether that money is still offshore. We asked if the Prime Minister was a beneficiary and how much UK tax was paid on the estate as a whole. They told us,
David Cameron did not discuss the writing of his father's will with him or know the contents of it before he died. He was not an executor of the will, he was a beneficiary of a cash legacy. He does not have any offshore assets, accounts, or private shareholdings of any description.
There's no suggestion that the Prime Minister or his family did anything illegal, and Channel 4 News understands the family declared the offshore estate in full to tax inspectors after his death. But unlike his estate in England, offshore assets are not made public, and the Prime Minister declined to tell us the full value of those assets tonight.